Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today we are ranking the palettes that I used in July of 2023. It is the last day of the month and I think I had 31 palettes for 31 days of July. If you can believe it, I will count them. You will see the countdown as we go through, but I will count them. I have got notes here on my tablet here of what I thought of each. We're going to start with the palette that impressed me the least this month. That doesn't mean if I use it in another month that it's going to end up at the bottom. That just means the look I came up with this month wasn't my favorite look. So, with that in mind, if you're interested in seeing how I ranked all these palettes, what palettes I used exactly, and what came in at the bottom and what came in at the top, then hang tight because I'm getting right into it. Okay, the palette that is at the bottom is this Amuse Cosmetics I Think I'm in Love palette. It looks like this. I think I got this from a, ice cream beauty bag around February time. The look I came up with, I didn't really like that much. The colors didn't seem to go together very well. And I was kind of surprised by that. I'm just cleaning this up a little bit. And I think I used these two shimmers together. I used this light pink. I was just trying to make a neutral look, really. I think I used this color here and this color over here. And these two, and it didn't go together. I was surprised. I might put this one up for a give this palette one last try, or a use it or lose it kind of thing, because I just really wasn't into this palette. So that's why it ended up at the bottom. The next palette I used was this new palette from ColourPop called Deja Brew. And this color and this color and this color and this color, when I was swatching it in my video of new ColourPop stuff, those colors were exactly alike, and they're not that different from the four colors together, really aren't that different from one another in the first place. And when I did a look with it, these shimmers didn't really seem to go with these colors here. This palette just doesn't make a lot of sense, and the quality of it wasn't up to par with good ColourPop quality. And I'm starting to think, is the stuff that they sent to Target, because I'm thinking this is a Target palette that they sent over to Target, is their quality not as good as their regular stuff? I don't know. That wouldn't be very nice or good. So that one ended up near the bottom. The next one is the e.l.f. Intergalactic palette. I just wasn't that impressed with it. I did a full face of e.l.f. Cosmetics, and I did a look with this one. Let me see what I said, because it's been a while. It says just not exciting, not enough interesting mattes. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of mattes, and they were all these two mattes are very much the same. And then we have a black matte, and then everything else, and there's a white matte too. I like that they have a white matte, but then everything else is just a shimmer. And I really like having matte. The longevity was good. Okay, there's not many e.l.f. palettes. I haven't run into a lot of e.l.f. palettes that I've just been in love with. But I haven't given up on this palette yet. I'm not putting it up for declutter or use it or lose it yet. I am going to keep giving this one a try. Okay, this is down at the bottom, but I'm very hopeful for it because the look that I came up with it, I was impressed with. And I just used these colors. I did a use it or lose it with this one, and I was very impressed, to the point where I did a different eye look on each one, and then after the video was over, I took off all my makeup and did my makeup using these shades here. And I went out to a concert, a band concert, and wore them out there, an outdoor band concert. So I am very hopeful for this palette, but I'm not putting it near the top just yet. I am still working with this palette, so you could see it rising in other months when I pull it out for Shop My Stash. So I have a lot of hope for that palette. Let's just say that. Same thing with this palette, this Rasha B Cosmetics palette. This is called the Beach Please. I got it in my Slay Glam box. This is what it looks like. It's a very out of my comfort zone kind of palette. And the look I came up with was a little bit out of my comfort zone as well. But I think, like, if I used these colors here, sort of these colors here, I think my first impression of the palette was just kind of out of the box. Because I was trying to use a lot of colors at once. And I think if I just stick to not trying to use a lot of colors, what did I write down? My complaint with the palette is it does need more mattes. It does. It needs more mattes. I like the blue. Okay, after I did the video with this, I made a blue look with these colors here. And I absolutely loved that look. I didn't film it, but I did make a blue look and I really like that look. Not really colored, not wearable colors, but the formula is nice and the shimmers are great. But the satins in here, I'm not a big fan of 1, 2, 3, 4 satins. But when I made that blue look, I did use this satin here called Ocean Waves, and it was nice. But yeah, I love that blue look that I did with that. So yeah. Kudos to Michelle Martin, who was a collaborator on this palette. I think if this was the palette, if this was your dream palette, I think you did a good job. Great job. Okay, the next palette up is the Jeffree Star Pink Religion palette. This is what it looks like. And it's fun. What I said is I did it for a Barbie look, for a collab. And I said it's fun to make bright pink looks with this palette, but it's very bold. It's fun to use for collabs and Instagram looks, but I can't see myself using this for every look. So I would have to agree with my past assumption on this, my past self's assumption, that it's just a very, very bold pink look. And yeah, doing Barbie collabs or pink collabs and Instagram looks with this is really fun to do. But if I wanted an everyday pink look for going out, if I wasn't going to like a party or something like that, I wouldn't reach for this palette. So that's where that one lands. My next one is the Michaela Pot 2. This is the 10 color palette that I got. I didn't grab the big palette because I thought I'll grab this one because it has some nice greens in it. And what did I say? The Glamlight matte formula is just okay. I say that because they always have dark shadows, especially in their 10 pan palettes. And this is the lightest shade that's in there, and it's not that light, to tell you the truth. Everything else is very dark. I had the same problem with the Scooby-Doo palette too. And I don't get that excited about this. The color stories don't excite me much, but the shimmers are out of this world. If I just wanted a color, if I just wanted to do a look that where the shimmers just really shot out at you, yeah, I would pick up a Glamlight palette for sure. But the mattes, the Glamlight mattes, don't really do it for me. Okay, I picked out a lot of palettes that could give you this kind of look, and I'll get to that palette later on. But the next one in my ranking is the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. And I did make a really nice look with this palette, but why is it so far down on the list? It says makes great fiery neutral looks, can wear it. It's very wearable. I seem to have a lot of palettes like it though, and which I do, and this one's just not my favorite. That's because there's not a lot of shimmers in it, and yeah, I think the darks are a little too dark for me. They are good for making smoky eyes, but these three colors are very much alike. And yeah, I just wish there were more than... There's really only one real shimmer. The other three are kind of satiny. Satins, not really any sparkle to them. And Urban Decay has a nice formula though. I will give them that. I haven't tried Urban Decay in a while though, as far as how their formula is these days. But back then when they were making palettes, their formula was pretty good. I'll give them that. Okay, next up is the Nomad Love and Death palette. This is their Verona palette. And I gave this palette a lot of flack when it first came out. But I have been able to make really nice looks with this palette. It just takes a lot of work to get a good look out of this palette. And the shimmers are pressed so freaking hard. What did I say? Actually, after giving this palette another chance, I really have grown to like it better. The shimmers are just very hard pressed to heck and back. But if you work with them, you can get them to pay off. You just really have to work really hard to get a look out of this palette. It just takes a lot of work. And do you really want to work that hard to get a good look? It just depends on you. The looks I have done have been absolutely beautiful. It just takes a while to get there. And also it gets very messy. So do your eye makeup first. But I do think it, personally, I think it's worth it in the end. But that's just me. That's just me. But I like lots of other palettes more. Like this Artist Couture Caliente palette. Another warm toned palette that will get you a nice fiery look in your eyes. This is, like I said, from Artist Couture Caliente. Makes beautiful fiery looks. A lot less neutral than my other palettes because it's got some yellows. It's got some reds. It's got a little purple in there too. And yeah, it's got an orange shimmer there. Better suited for evening looks. I would agree with that. Still works great after a couple of years. Yeah, I've had this palette for a couple of years now. Definitely a keeper. Yes, I would agree with my past self. That is a keeper palette. Okay, coming in clutch is the Wild Nothing from ColourPop. Of course it's ColourPop. This is a very neutral palette, but a very good going out makeup, no makeup look palette. And just an all around a good palette, but nothing special to put it up further up in the ranking. What did I say? A good makeup, no makeup palette for days when I'm going out, need a light look. It's nice to have several of these palettes in my collection. Yes. It's nice to have these palettes, but like I said, nothing wow about it. It's just there. Okay. Next is the All I Ever Wanted Unearthly Cosmetics Volume 2 palette. This is an all shimmer, duochrome, multi-chrome palette. Yeah, I've had it for a little while. I don't pull it out that much, but I will pull it out when I want the wow factor. I will. I think I only used it once this month though. What did I say? It's very high rated. We're getting into the very highs right now as far as rateability goes. It says, always a great palette to have around. So glad I bought it because it was a lot of money. It has shimmers in shades that I just don't have in other palettes. Always fun to bring it out. So that's how I rated that palette. Like I said, it has shimmers in it that I just don't see in my other palettes. Okay, another palette to make that latte makeup look that's so popular these days. When you want a brown look with some shimmer and the bronze look, this is a very popular look that's going around Instagram right now. This is a good palette to use. It's the Sahara by Alter Ego, and it's a dupe for, well, is it a dupe for the Natasha Denona bronze palette? I don't know. Maybe it is. But what did I say? Fun to use to make the latte makeup look with. Supposed to be a dupe of the bronze palette, I think. Kind of glad I didn't get the Natasha Denona one. Many of these colors are so similar, they are similar to each other. That's why I'm glad I didn't get the Natasha Denona one. I don't know how many different looks I can make from this palette, or I would definitely rank it higher. Yes, like these two colors here, they're very similar to one another. And like these two colors right here are very similar. There are minute differences, but I don't think you'd be able to tell them the differences on your eyeballs. Okay, the next palette is the Zodiac palette. I love this palette. I really do. But there's only so many wearable looks I can get out of it. So it's really nice to make a dramatic evening look with it, or a collab look, or especially an Instagram look. Very nice to make one of those looks. I love the shimmers in this. What did I say about it? It is very versatile, can do so many looks. The shimmers are to die for. I will never declutter this palette. That's exactly what I said in my notes. So it is very fun. I can make a wearable look with this palette. There are some neutral colors in here. I don't know why I didn't rank this higher. I think we're really getting into palettes that I absolutely love at this point. So that is the Zodiac palette. The next palette I have is the Pink Rose palette by Okalon. This is a Huda Beauty dupe palette for the Rose Quartz palette. I just love colors like this. These soft pinks and purples. And yeah, there's even some blues in there. They just look so good on me. And look at me. They look so good on me. I think, just my opinion, but I think it makes a beautiful color story. I think they look good on lots of people, these kind of colors. So this is why it ranked it so high. There is another palette very similar to this, but I ranked it higher up. The next palette is the NYX Ultimate Vintage Jean Baby. I've only gotten to use this once, so it's not ranked as high, but I will tell you, if you watch the video where I did the trying on new Ulta makeup and get ready with me, the look I made with that, I wasn't entirely happy with. So when I was done, I took the eye makeup off and I did another look with it, and I absolutely loved that second look that I did. But I still need to play with this some more. I will admit, like I said, I did mess up my first look, but I did another look and I loved it. I love the color story of this palette, and the formula works great. I think the more I play with it, the higher up on these lists it will get. Okay, the next palette is the Morphe 35F, also known as the Fall Into Fabulous look. Granted, this could be edited down. It could definitely be edited down, but what a great fall palette this is, with these light golds here, some deeper golds here, and these are purples, and look at these over here. I love this. Yes, this palette has a lot of repetitive colors in it, but makes the most beautiful eye looks ever. Yes, the purples and the gold shades together, they look beautiful together. Will be great for fall. Can't wait to use this more. And I think Morphe has a very nice formula. I don't know why some beauty influencers don't like Morphe or refuse to use Morphe. I think they have a very good formula. That's just my opinion, but I don't know. Morphe is a little shady, I will admit, but You know, like I said, I can't keep up with these companies, what they do and what they don't do. I just go by how good the formula is. Okay, the next palette is another ColourPop palette. It is the Mandalorian, and I love this color story, and it is a very interesting color story. The only complaint I have is I wish it had a lighter matte in it, but that's just my opinion. But I love that mustard yellow that are in here, the shimmers. I love the shimmers in here, and I really did like the look that I made with this palette. I really did. And yeah, I just like Star Wars, so that helps it up in the ratings. Okay, next is the Child palette, the Mandalorian Child palette, and we've got a little, I don't know what his name is. I still call him Baby Yoda. But I love a green palette, a green with some browns in it. Gets me every time. And the shimmers are so nice. I like that there's only 3 shimmers in there, right? No, there's 4. 4 and 5. That's a good ratio. So, yeah. Love, love, love this palette. Okay, the next is a double, and I'm just counting these together as one because I can't use one without the other, and vice versa. Well, I can use this one alone, but I like using them together. This is the Nile palette by Rasha B Cosmetics, and this is Illuminati quad palette called Superstition. And the look I did with these palettes was out of this world beautiful. Oh my gosh. And I can't wait to use this again. What am I saying? What did I say about this one? Very high, very impressed with the look I made with these 2 palettes. I think this brand is really starting to kill it formula-wise. I am looking forward to seeing more from them. Yes, I very much am. Okay, next up is the Violet Voss I Love You Cherry much. I have other palettes that look like this, but like the Scandal palette, but I do not like the Scandal palette as much as I like this palette. It has reds and browns and golds and pinks, and the formula is just better than the Lorella formula, I think. So I think I might put the Scandal palette up for use it or lose it, I think. And just use this palette instead for this kind of color story. But this one, what did I say? I much enjoy this palette so much more than the Scandal palette for some reason. I think it's the formula. I just love the colors are a little more brown and pink than straight up red. Okay, there's only like one straight up red color in here. I suppose I love the Violet Voss formula. Okay. The next I used in a live stream where we did, with the Clam Gals, where we did palette bingo. And I used the ColourPop Aurora Struck palette. I really love the colors in this palette. Again, I don't know, if I had to choose between using cool colors and warm colors, I don't know if I could choose, because I think I love both of them, but it would be a very hard choice if I had to choose between only wearing cool colors or only wearing warm colors. Cool colors, I think, have a lot more variety in cool colors, so maybe I would just pick I could only wear cool colors. So, okay, what did I say? Use this in palette bingo. Love the look that I did. Love this palette so much. It makes great looks. More for an evening or party look though, but so much fun. Okay, I don't think, maybe if I just used the lighter shades, could I make a wearable day look? But I would probably have to agree with myself there. Okay, the next palette is the Smokin' Hot palette, also a mega palette from ColourPop. I got this from my very good friend Gloria from Makeup and More with Gloria P. And yeah, I think this is another warm tone palette. And yeah, I absolutely loved the couple of looks that I came up with this one. Gloria and I also did a collab together with this palette, and yeah, you can come up with a lot of different looks with this one. The only reason it didn't make it higher in the list than the one I'm wearing on my eyes right now is because it is so big and not very travel friendly. That is probably the only reason, but it's a great formula. I love ColourPop, and I do love this palette a lot. The next is the ColourPop Sage the Day. I bought this earlier this year. I love this palette. It reminds me a lot of the Child palette as well, but these have lighter colors in it. Like this color right here. I love this color. And yeah, it's another 4:5 ratio. I love that it has this really dark green right here. And yeah, I also love these darker shimmer. I'm not really a dark shimmer person, but let's just say the look I came up. If I had to choose between the Sage of the Day and the Child, I don't know if I could pick between it, but I'll say the look I came up with this palette beat the look that I came up with the Child palette. Okay, it's like another month it could be different. Okay, I got this Wild Greens palette from Urban Decay. It looks like this. This makes a really awesome everyday kind of looks. Going out during the day time looks very nice. If you want some color in your look, it's neutral with a pop of color. I'll say it's got some pinks and greens, which you know I love pinks and greens together, and it has those browns, but it has some pink shimmers in it too. I got this, I think, on a 4th of July sale. I think that's what it was, the 4th of July sale from Sephora, where it was only like $20. So I picked this baby up in a heartbeat, and I have not regretted it at all. Okay, the other Huda Beauty dupe for the Rose Quartz palette is the Coastal palette. And this one, I did a dupe versus dupe, and this one won over the Pink Rose palette because some of the shades in here are just so special. Like this one called Sparkle right here is very shifty, and this color here called Ripple is very nice. Has a lot of sparkle in it, just like Sparkle. And I didn't mention it in the video, but these jelly shades were also very different from one another. If you like these jelly shades, this coral one was just a little bit nicer than the one in the Pink Rose palette. So I just made a very awesome look with this one. Okay, one of my favorite ColourPop palettes is the Going Coconuts palette. I dropped this on the floor this morning and all the colors came out. None of them, only this one. Oh, I think, no, this one right here. And I don't know the name of it because I put them all back in different spots because I didn't know what spot went where. So I don't know the name of this one, but a lot of pigment came out of this one here. So I know this one's not in the right spot, and this one might be in the right spot, but I don't know. But anyway, I love this color story. It's one of my favorites in my collection. I'm so glad none of the pigments broke completely when it fell to the ground. But anyway, love making looks with this look, just everyday going out looks, even evening looks, going on evening. Okay, what's on my eyes today is the Natasha Denona Mini Bronze Palette. And I just love this look that I've got going on today. I also used a little bit of the ColourPop Will Turn, right? Will Turn Super Shock Shadow in the corners of my eyes, a little bit up here and in my brow, for my brow bone highlight, because this only has one shimmer. And I really don't mind that. I would rather have more mattes than shimmers and then just pull in something else to do the highlights with. But this is definitely one of my favorite Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes, mini eyeshadow palettes, not bigger eyeshadow palettes. One of my favorite mini eyeshadow palettes. And yeah, I just love using that, taking it to go. I think I've taken it on a trip before, I think. But yeah, love it, love it. Again, I pulled this one out. I think I pulled it last month or the month before, and it topped in at number 1. This time it's here at number 3. And yeah, this is the ABH. This is the Primrose palette, and it is just absolutely beautiful. Again, it's got soft pinks and purples in it, and these two shimmers are absolutely beautiful on the eyes. I just absolutely love this palette. Y'all have heard me gush over it lots of different times, and the ABH formula is just second to none. Well, third to none in this case. And yeah, just love this palette. The number 2 palette that I used, what did I use it doing? No, I can't really remember, but it is the Hella palette from Odin's Eye. And I did a look just using these colors right here. I don't think I used that one, but I used these colors. And oh my gosh, the look was, I loved it. I'm like, I really need to buy more Odin's Eye. I have the Alva palette, and I love the look I came up with for the Alva palette as well. I don't know why I'm sitting on Odin's Eye. I really, really, really want to buy more Odin's Eye. Okay, and the last palette, of course, nobody should be surprised, is my Natasha Denona Retro palette. I think I did a short with this one, a YouTube short, and yeah, it's my favorite of all the Natasha Denona palettes, my favorite Natasha Denona palette. And it's no surprise that it's in the number 1 spot, of course. The look I did with it was my favorite look that I did this month. And yeah, that is that. Those are all the palettes that I used this month. And yeah, there were several days where I used 2 palettes in one day, or took 1 palette and made 2 looks in one day. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you have any of these palettes? Have you used any of these palettes? What do you think of these palettes? I would love to know. What are some palettes you used this month? Please consider giving this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Share this video with your friends if you feel so inclined. Anything you can do to engage with this video would really, really help, but no pressure, because I know this video is long. So just you watching to this point really, really helps me out as well. Help me get my watch hours up. And yeah, so thank you for watching. And whether you are a subscriber, whether you are a casual viewer, whether it's your very first time watching, if it is your very first time watching and you like what you see, then I would love it if you would hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, set it to all so that you're notified every time that I upload a new video. I hope you are all having a wonderful, fantastic, amazing day out there today. If you're having an especially hard time, know that I'm thinking about you, sending you all of those good vibes, and just remember to stay strong, stay healthy, and stay safe out there. And I will see you in another video soon. Just stay well until then, okay? Goodbye.